Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, the whole day we spent here to commemorate the birth, enlightenment and passing away of the Buddha. This morning, Bhante gave a very long discourse on the background of his life. I'm going to continue that. Most of the things that I wanted to say, he said already. So I'm going to repeat in a different words, different way. Yes, he had 3 palaces. Buddha himself mentioned it in Pariyasana Sutta, Mahasattika Sutta, Mahasijanatha Sutta, and so forth. He mentioned that I had 3 palaces. When I was in Sama Palace, I never came down. I was on the highest floor. When I was in the Winter Palace, I didn't come down. When I was in the Rainy Palace, because in India there were 3 seasons, winter season, summer season and rainy season. For these 3 seasons, he had 3 palaces. He did not come down. During these 3, while he was living in 3 palaces, he never saw a man. All he saw was beautiful young girls taking care of him day and night. At the same time, his father tightened security of Bodhisattva Siddhartha. Siddhartha was a Bodhisattva, he himself admitted, he said, that when I was a Bodhisattva, unenlightened person, this is what my father did. He imprisoned me, house arrest. Virtually, Bodhisattva Siddhartha was house arrested, did not let him go out. So, harder the father tightened the security, harder Bodhisattva Siddhartha wanted to go out. Therefore, there was a conflict between the father and the son. Father wanted to keep him home, son wanted to leave home. Father tightened the security, son wanted to break the security. So this conflict was going on. And that itself was enough for Bodhisattva Siddhartha to think, because he was a genius, not an ordinary person. As a genius, he was thinking, planning to escape from this prison. Like some prisoners, even if they're in maximum security prisons, they try to escape. Bodhisattva Siddhartha also did that. And both Suddhodana and Mahaprajapati were crying. He said he did not run away in the middle of the night as some people think. As sometimes our children learn when they were young. They learn Siddhartha as soon as Ravana was born. Siddhartha Bodhisattva ran away in the middle of the night. That we never find in any text. These are the later fabrications by some other religious sects. Anyway, while parents were crying, he left home. He saw the suffering, his father's suffering. Why did he suffer? Because of greed. Greed is the cause of suffering. Greed breeds pain and suffering. Tanha jati soko, tanha jati bhayam. Tanha vipamuttasya nati soko kuto bhayam. Craving generates fear and sorrow. Soka, bhayam. Free from craving, no sorrow, no pain. So he saw this with his insight, why the father was suffering. Day and night he could not sleep because he was worrying that one day my son will give up the throne and leave home. He was my heir apparent, but now he is planning to leave. I have no second choice. Siddhartha, on the other hand, thinking, how should I escape this prison? And he saw when he gives up greed, craving, he would be free. So you can see the difference between father's thinking and son's thinking. Like that time, even today, if a boy wanted to become a monk, he has to struggle with the parents. Parents want to keep him tied to the house. The son wants to leave home. Even today it happens. All this because of suffering, because of greed. Greed does not arise by itself. Greed has its own cause. Greed has been caused by ignorance. Now when these two combine together, greed and ignorance, what else can you expect other than suffering? So there was a conflict at home. Now people think, and also in literature we see, only when Siddhartha Bodhisattva saw these 4 signs, old man, sick man, dead body and mendicant, he even did not know. That's what he asked Chandan, seeing an old man like me, trembling, cannot walk properly, asked Chandan, why is that? Why is he trembling? Oh, he is old. He did not have to have that kind of learning from somebody. He saw his father was older than him. Mahaprajapati was older than him. As a genius, it was science enough for him to think of the nature of life. Then he saw somebody sick. Again he asked Chandra, what is it? Why is that place like that? Chandra said, he is sick. Then when he saw the dead body, he asked the same thing. So in my view, the one who should have attained enlightenment was Chandra. Because Chandra knew the answer to all these questions. Siddhartha was not that childish. Siddhartha was very smart. He did not become smart like this all of a sudden. From eons and eons and eons, from Deepankara Buddha, he was learning, thinking the nature of this life. He spent a lot of years and eons studying, doing research, taking birth and rebirth again and again and again. Aneka jati sansara, sandhavisam anekvisam. He said, at countless nights I was wandering, seeking but not finding the builder of this house. He was not wandering like anybody else. He was wandering in samsara, seeking the truth, seeking the answer to his pending, burning question. And therefore, when he was born with very, very intelligent. I must say he is a genius, born as a genius. For a genius, he doesn't have to ask somebody seeing an old man, is it old? Why is that? He immediately can know he is an old man. When somebody is sick, he can know immediately he is a sick man. When somebody is dead, he can see. That is when Kisa Gautami has her child died. Kisa Gautami did not know the child was dead. When she was looking for mustard seeds, and people said he was dead. When Kisa Gautami brought the baby to the Buddha, the dead body of the baby, as soon as Buddha saw the child was dead. So he asked her to bring the mustard seed from a house where death has never been taken place. You know the story. And there would be Bodhisattva Siddhartha, as an old person, 29 years old, didn't have to ask other people when somebody is sick, old and dead, didn't have to ask, why is that? So forth. Anyway, from his palacious life, luxurious life, he realized this is not real. This is artificial. This palace life is artificial, not real. He wanted to find the real life and get rid of that. So there was always conflict between the father and the son. And then he left and shaved his head and put on yellow robe and so forth. Nobody taught him to put on yellow robe, how to wear the robe. He knew immediately how to wear the robe, how to wear the underrobe, upper robe, sanghati. He knew. He never learned it from somebody. We have seen many rules, 227 for monks, 311 for nuns. He did not learn these rules from somebody else. He immediately knew this should be a rule for monks, this should be rules for nuns. Nobody taught him. That is the nature of all these rules. Buddha himself invented, depending on the occasion, for the situation. Only genius can do that. And then, after all these things, he went to Gaya and he continued. Then Bimbisara said to him, stay here, take my kingdom. Siddhartha Bodhisattva said, thank you very much, Your Majesty. If I want a kingdom, there are 4 divine realms in 4 directions. We call in English Satalavaram Maharaja Guru. In all 4 directions there are deities, kings, ruling directions. If I want a kingdom to rule, as soon as I utter a word, all of them would be ready to give me their kingdoms. Not only that, if I want to rule the world, I could have become a universal monarch. I know the suffering when I have all these possessions. Possession always breeds suffering. Giving up always brings relief of suffering. You knew that? Then he left and went on investigating. You know, he was investigating as a genius, not ordinary things, very easy for people to investigate and find solutions. He wanted to do something far more than that, deeper investigation. That is why in the factors of enlightenment, number 2 is investigation. Number 1 is mindfulness. Number 2 is investigation. He always wanted to investigate, ask questions, check out and find out a solution. That is exactly what the scientists do. Scientists collect data, analyze them, process them, and find a solution. He followed that method. And he went on investigating. I think he mentioned this morning also, I want to repeat it once again for you to remember it. There's a discourse called Dhamma Niyama Sutta, law of Dhamma. That's called established Dhamma, root of Dhamma, and law of Dhamma. Established Dhamma, there are 2 kinds of established Dhammas. One is dependent origination. That is established Dhamma. Root of Dhamma, nature of Dhamma. Second is Anicca Dukkha Anatta. Anicca, Buddha did not create impermanence. Whether the Buddhas come into existence or not, impermanence exists. Impermanence doesn't hang from clouds. Impermanence doesn't exist by itself. There must be something to be impermanent. What is that something? Everything you can see in the world is something. Particularly, something in this Buddha's teaching, something, if you see impermanence in this house, the floor, trees and so forth, that does not bring you an enlightenment. He saw impermanence of something else. Others saw they also impermanent. He saw impermanence in 5 aggregates. Form, feeling, perception, thought and volition, consciousness. They are impermanent. Seeing them impermanent helps a person to become detached, dispassionate. Dispassionate with what? Oneself. Because our attachment is not trees and houses and vehicles and so forth. Our real deep attachment is our own body and mind, 5 aggregates. And they are impermanent. Why impermanent? Because they are made up of impermanent material. This form is made up of impermanent earth, water, fire, element. These feelings are impermanent. Our perception is impermanent. Our thoughts are impermanent. Our consciousness is impermanent. And we are clinging to these impermanent aggregates. So, in Dhamma Niyama Sutta he said, therefore, whether the Buddhas come into existence or not, this element of Dhamma, root of Dhamma, law of Dhamma exists. Buddha doesn't have to come to earth to create impermanence. It is always there. Dependent origination is there always. He simply discovered what is hidden, that's all. Then sometimes people think he said after self-mortification and so forth, he abandoned self-indulgence by leaving the palace and so forth, and then went to practice self-mortification. I think he mentioned this morning. And then he sat under the Bodhi tree and again enlightened within 12 hours. It did not happen that easily, that quickly. As I mentioned, he practiced and practiced and practiced for eons and eons and eons. This is just culmination of this practice. During these 6 years, what did he practice? He practiced mindfulness. He practiced right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness and right concentration. These are things he practiced. Avoiding this extreme and that extreme, he practiced this. That is why it is called middle path. When we say middle path, sometimes people ask us, is there an upper middle path? Yes, there is an upper middle path. That is called supramundane middle path. Ordinary middle path and supramundane middle path. He practiced ordinary middle path and promoted himself up to supramundane middle path to culminate his practice. And in Bhayabhayarava Sutta, he said, people sometimes hesitate to say that he was called Bodhisattva because there's a Bodhisattva concept in Mahayana tradition. And therefore they think if they use the word Bodhisattva, they also fall into Mahayana tradition. No, that is not correct. Buddha himself used that he was Bodhisattva. He used his own words. He said, I consider this, I quote, I am purified in body, conduct, I resort to remote jungle thickets, resting place in the forest as one of the noble one, without bodily conduct purified. Seeing in myself this purity of bodily conduct, I found great solace in dwelling in the forest. When one is not pure in his bodily conduct, what one has to do to make the body pure, bodily conduct pure, abstain from killing, stealing, sensual practice, sensual misconduct. Pāṇāti-pātā linnādāna, kāmisamicchāchāra. When somebody abstains from this, bodily conduct becomes pure and clean. He said, I can purify my verbal conduct. What one has to do to purify verbal conduct? Abstain from telling lies, slanderous talk, harsh speech, and gossip. 4. Pisanavacha, Varsavacha, Sampapalapa, Musavada. We find them in Noble Eightfold Path. I mentioned he practiced Noble Eightfold Path before he attained enlightenment as a Bodhisattva. It is mentioned in Bhante Sutta. First he purified his bodily conduct, Pāṇāti-pātā linnādāna kāmisamicchāchāra. That also you find in the Noble Eightfold Path. Right action, right speech. And then he said, I purified my mental conduct. Avidya, vyapāra, micchāmiti. He purified. And then, if somebody has not purified these 3 conducts, physical, verbal and mental, if that person goes to forest, thicket, he will be frightened. Bhaya, bearer. Fear and terror. Fear and terror arises in his mind. Without purifying these 3 conducts. But he said, he purified these 3 and he went to the forest. Most of the time he lived in the forest. Then he purified his mind from hindrances. He said, I consider that I am uncovetous. Others are covetous. Covetousness means excessive greed for others' property. He said, I don't have that. And he said, I practice loving kindness, metta. I overcame my sloth and torpor. That's the 3rd hindrance. First hindrance is karma. Second hindrance is vyapāra. Vyapāra means again the factor against loving friendliness. And then sleepiness and drowsiness. 3rd. Then I purified restlessness, my mind from restlessness and worry, and make it peaceful mind. Then I have gone beyond doubts. When I practice each of them, I build up my confidence. With this confidence, I was able to overcome all my doubts. Then I gave up self-praise and disparaging others. Normally that is another mental impurity. I will mention this some details later on. And then I am intrepidate. I cannot be subdued by somebody. And I have very few wishes. If I have too many wishes, I cannot live in the forest. Then he said, I am energetic. A lazy person, lethargic person cannot live in the forest without fear. I gave up that. Then I established my mindfulness to live in the forest because it has a great benefit. I developed my concentration. That gives great benefit. I became wise to live with the forest. So, then we practiced this and practiced and practiced. According to Vesak Sutta, Vesak means two kinds of thoughts. He divided all his thoughts into two. Positive side, negative side. Whenever he had the thought opposite to this, he put in negative side. When he had the thought positive, put on the positive side. For instance, if he had greed, put into negative side. If he has thought of generosity, put on the positive side. When the negative thought arose in him, he thought this thought is harmful, not beneficial. It doesn't bring me peace, happiness, comfort. It always brings me pain, suffering. Put aside. Practice wholesome thought, which brings you peace, happiness, comfort, concentration, wisdom and so forth. When he divided this thought like this, all wholesome thoughts stayed in his mind, unwholesome thought disappeared. And then he practiced 37 factors of enlightenment. What are the 37 factors of enlightenment? I think most of you might have heard these names and numbers, but I want to enumerate them just for your own sake, those who have studied them, and those who have forgotten can refresh their memory when I repeat it. What are the 37 factors of enlightenment? 4 foundations of mindfulness, there are 4. 4 right efforts. What are the 4 right efforts? Effort to restrain, effort to overcome, effort to cultivate, effort to arouse, effort to maintain. 4. 4 itipadas. Itipada, chanda, chitta, virya, vimasa. Then 12. 4 foundations of mindfulness, 4 effort, 4 itipada. Itipada means base of success. 4 bases of success. Then 5 faculties. Saddha, virya, sati, samadhi, panya. 5 faculties. Then 12, 5, 17. 5 balas. Saddha, virya, saddha bala, virya bala, sati bala, samadhi bala, panya bala. 12, 5, 17, 5, 22. Then 7 factors of enlightenment. Mindfulness, investigation, effort, tranquility, tranquility, mindfulness, sati, samadhi, concentration and my sati, Dhamma, virya, piti, passavi, samadhi, upekha in Pali. So 22, 7, 29. And Noble Eightfold Path, 37. These are 37 factors of enlightenment. He practiced them. He practiced them before he sat down under the Bodhi tree. As I mentioned, attaining enlightenment did not happen within these 12 hours all of a sudden. He kept on practicing them. During the time he practiced mortification, these are things he did because he was not interested in anything else. Then he perfected Four Noble Truths in 3 ways and 12 modes. What are they? Satya, Kitya, Kata. Satya means he realized this, for instance, suffering is suffering. It was very firmly established in his mind. Suffering is suffering. That is Satya. Kitya, he asked himself, what should I do with this knowledge of suffering? That is Kitya. What should he do? That should be fully comprehended. Abhinyayam abhinyata. What is to be done with the suffering? Suffering should be properly, correctly, perfectly understood. Then, Kata means completed. That means, I have understood suffering. First he knew that it should be understood, then he understood it. That is called Kata. Theory, practice, and perfect of the practice. With regard to the first truth. And then the second truth, cause of suffering. He knew that this is the cause of this suffering. What is the cause of suffering? Craving. That's what his father had. Yeah. His father had this suffering. Suffering because he was attached to his son. That's the cause of suffering. It should be also comprehended. And what should be done with the suffering, cause of suffering? It should be abandoned. Pahatabba. Second, kitchen. That is the thing to be done. And then pahina. I have abandoned, given up, completely abolished, make it extinct from my mind. Then completed that. Then the third truth is end of suffering. End of suffering is Nibbana. Nibbana should be realized. Learning as theory is one thing, but he first understood Nibbana as a theory perfectly, and he asked, what should I do with this understanding? That means this should be realized, not just learning as a theory, but realized. Learning as a theory is one thing, realization is another. I tell you one simile for you to remember. Knowledge is just like seeing water in a deep well. There is a deep well. When you peep, you can see the water at the bottom. You know for sure that is water. But it doesn't quench your thirst. And you cannot reach that water because your hand is not long enough. You don't have a rope or bucket. You have to have a long rope and a bucket to put that into the well and get water and drink. Long hand and bucket is like the normal eightfold path. Putting that into practice is like drinking water. Only then your thirst will be quenched. Similarly, Nibbana you understand as a theory, but you have to realize it to complete it. That is the third truth. He knew that is Nibbana. What should be done, that should be realized, and then finally he realized. Then the last one is Noble Eightfold Path, the end of the path leading to the end of suffering. He realized, he understood it, and the function of it is to be put into practice. Noble Eightfold Path is to be practiced, that is developed, bhavita. And then he practiced and developed it, bhavita completed. In this way, Four Noble Truths, put it in three ways, each of them put in three ways, and they become 12. So he said, these Four Noble Truths I understood, I completed in 3 modes and 12 aspects. That is why he mentioned in Dhamma Chakkapavatana Sutta. Complete. And then he went to the Bodhi tree after eating Sujata's food, milk rice. He thought, today, I will attain enlightenment. He prepared himself in this life. In previous lives, eons and eons and eons he practiced and practiced and practiced. And in this life, he went through all these 29 years, intense practice in 6 years, and then he decided, today I attain. Then the Mara appeared. Mara said, you see, you are a very wonderful person. You have a great knowledge, wisdom, perseverance. You look very handsome, powerful, son of a king. Stay home, enjoy this pleasure. 3 palaces, all these beautiful young women, girls. When a girl becomes a little older, she kick out and get another young girl. Always young girls, young girls, young girls. You see, aren't you get tired of young girls all the time? When you have so many girls all around you, without any single man, you get tired of that. So, Siddhartha was tired of that. But Maharaj said, stay home. You can do lot of meritorious deeds. You can give dharma. You can practice sila. You can be very generous. Good king. You don't have to become cruel, can you? Lot of people to support you. Stay home. Do some meritorious deeds. Prince Siddhartha Gautama says, Anumattena punyena atthomaya navejati ye sancha atti punyena tang maro vattu marhati. I don't need the scruple of pink merits. Someone who needs merit, you go and ask him to do it. I don't need that merit. What is wrong with the merits? What is wrong with the punya? Pink. There's a problem with pink. What is the problem with pink? Punya, merits. Problem with merits is it perpetuates your life. Because you do meritorious deed now, then you will be reborn in heaven. Or do more meritorious deed, then you will be born in higher heaven. You do more meritorious, then go to higher heavens. Then do more meritorious, go to Brahma realms. And their life is limited. Eons and eons, that's also limited. Then come back to where you start. Again, do more merits. Again, go good life. Do more merits. Again, good life. No end. Samsara is perpetuate. That's the problem with marriage. Therefore, Siddhartha Bodhisattva, the genius, discovered there are 4 kinds of karmas. One karma is called, in Pali is called Kannam Kanna Vipakam. Black karma, black vipaka. That means black karma means unwholesome karma, green, unwholesome karma. Then white karma, white vipaka. Good karma brings good results. Then black and white karma. Black and white like in writing. Black and white karma. Black and white karma is good and bad karma, brings good and bad results. So there is no escape. Whether you commit wholesome karma, unwholesome karma, or mixed karma, still no escape. So Siddhartha Bodhisattva discovered karma khaya karma. Karma that destroys karma. There has to be a time to destroy karma in order to attain enlightenment. What is that karma? Karma that destroys karma. What is that karma? That karma is called Noble Eightfold Path. Buddha's panacea, Buddha's universal medicine for any sickness is the Noble Eightfold Path. Upper middle path. Practice that. That is the only karma that destroys karma. So the when Mara came and asked Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama Bodhisattva, stay home, do marriage. This was his reply. I don't need 10 marriage. Whoever needs marriage, go and advise him to do that. So he made a firm determination that night, that evening, and he said to himself, when the blood is dry up, I quote, that's so I don't have time to explain it, read all in Pali. He said, when the blood is dry up, the bile and phlegm dry up, when my muscles are withering away, my mind becomes even more serene. And he said, and my mindfulness and wisdom and conscience concentration become more firm. Willingly let only my skin and sinews and my bones be left behind. Let the flesh and blood of my body all dry up without residue. With this firm determination, he went. Then Mara sent his soldiers, army. Buddha defeated 10 armies. Dasa Mara Sena. Who are these Mara Senas? We say Dasa Mara Sena. These are the soldiers or armies that Buddha, each of them is armies, that means battalions at least, each of them. These 10 Maras are mentioned in Sutta Nipada. They are called Kama Te Padama Sena, Dutiya Arati Uchati, Tatiya Kupipasate, Tanna Chatuti Tanna Pauchati, Panchame Vichikikhyata. Chatti Viru Pavichyati. Saptami, Panchami Teenimitancha, Chatti Viru Pavichyati. Saptami Vijikicchacha, Bano Thammo Te Akami, Labo Siloko Sakkaro Michchalanto so. Yat Yojaktante Samukkante Parisa Aviyanti. Esanuti Te Sena, Karnassavi Bhavarini, Natam Asurojinati, Jettate Dhabate Sukham. The meaning is, sensual pleasures are your first army. Sensual pleasures are your first army. That is what Siddhartha Sutotana Mahaprajapati suffered from. Sensual pleasure. Keeping his son home is a sensual pleasure. Second is called discontent. Once you accept certain commitment, like attaining enlightenment, you sometimes get disheartened, sometimes get disappointed, sometimes you feel lazy and so forth. Discontent. Hunger and thirst is the third army. Fourth is called craving. Fifth is dullness and drowsiness. Fifth is number 5. Sixth is called cowardice. And seventh is called doubt. Eighth is pride and denigration. And then gain praise and honor, and wrongly obtain fame is the 9th. Number 10th is one exalts oneself and looks down upon others. These are the 10 maras, 10 armies of Mara. These are the maras that Bodhisattva destroyed, defeated. Of course, in Buddhist literature, we can hear another personified Mara. This is impersonal Mara, and there is another personified Mara. Personification would be more palatable, easy to relate to people, therefore that is the popular Maras. But the real Mara would be destroyed, also the destroyers are these Maras. And then Buddha said, Bodhisattva said, this is your army, Namuchi. Another name for Mara is Namuchi. Namuchi means nobody will escape from it. Muchi means freedom. Nobody will be free from you because you are always with living beings. And weakling does not conquer them, but the strong person will conquer and defeat this Mara. Okay? And he said, it is better that I die in battle against you, the creator of obstacles, for those practice rightly, than that I live in defeat on defeat. I rather die in this battle than living. Then Mara came back again, came to the Buddha, Bodhisattva, and Bodhisattva said, don't try to defeat me because I have established my mindfulness. Even when he was practicing mortification, self-mortification, he was practicing mindfulness. There is a discourse in Majjhima Nikaya called Acharya Abhuta Sutta. In that sutta, it is mentioned that Siddhartha Bodhisattva, when he was Tusita heaven, he was in mindfulness. When he was conceived in the mother's womb, he conceived in the mother's womb with mindfulness. And in the mother's womb, he grew with mindfulness. He was born with mindfulness. And he lived with mindfulness. His mindfulness was so powerful that in one discourse he said, even if 4 months ask me questions on the 4 foundations of mindfulness for 100 years, I will remember all of them, all these questions, and answer each of them very accurately, and never do I have to repeat it. I remember the questions, I remember the answers. Even if they ask these questions and answers for 100 years, that was his mindfulness. So when Mara came and asked him to leave this, he said, I have mindfulness, you cannot defeat me. So Mara said, having seen such spirit, aren't you afraid? A bhikkhu, Mara addressed Bodhisattva as a bhikkhu. No, Mara, I'm not afraid. Buddha said. Why aren't you afraid? Because I have fulfilled the merits of 10 perfections, paramis. I have practiced 10 perfections. What are the 10 perfections? Dana, morality, sila, renunciation, nekkhamma, panya, wisdom, virya, energy, khanti, patience, truthfulness, satya, and determination, adhitthana, metta, loving kindness, equanimity, upekha. I practice these 10 perfections in 3 levels, parami, upaparami, and paramanta parami, at 3 levels. Therefore I am strong, you cannot defeat me. Then, who knows, Mara said, who knows that you have done such a deeds as giving, etc. What needs is therefore witness. Buddha, evil one, what you need as witness? Bodhisattva said this. We can see in one of the postures. In the Buddhist statues, you can see a posture. In that posture, you can see this. Buddha said, Bodhisattva said, even in a single excision when I was Vesantara, because of the spiritual mind of the acts of giving, I performed, this great earth itself bore witness by quaking 7 times in 6 ways. When this was said, the great earth as far as its boundaries of water trembled and let those frightful noise. Buddha pointed his right hand to the earth. That's why you can see Buddha statue in some places. Left hand is on the left, right hand is pointing to the earth. When the Mara came and challenged, Buddha said, this earth is my witness to perfecting these perfections. And then evil one, Mara, vanished, disappeared, frightened. Then Bodhisattva stayed under the Bodhi tree. In the first night, on the first of the night, he kept on practicing jhana. Jhana, first, second, third, fourth, and then developed his spiritual faculty which enabled him to see his previous life. And he saw previous life 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 100,000, millions, and went on seeing eons and eons and eons. And then he saw in the second watch other beings taking people they go to their karma, like him. Then in the third watch, he contemplated the reason why this happened. They were born again and again. I was born again and again. What is the reason? Reason is dependent origination. Seeing that, he destroyed the remaining defilements. Asava, Jnana. So these are three jnanas here. Pumbena Vasanasati, Vipajakku, and Asava, Jnana. Destruction of defilements. And then he said this, Anek jati samsara samdha visam nanipisa Gahakarakam gavesantu dukha jati puna puna Gahakaraka dittu runage annakasi Sabbate dvasuka bhagga Gahakuddama sakita Visamkharagatan chittam tannana kaimataga. Through many a birth I wandered in samsara, seeking but not finding the window of this house. Sorrowful is it to be born again and again. O house builder, thou art seen, thou shalt not build house again. All thy rafters are broken, all the end of samsara, suffering, and the achieved end of craving. My mind is unconditioned, visankara. Sankara exists in the mind, craving exists, samsara exists. The moment sankara is eliminated from the mind, samsara ends. Samsara, Buddha said, Anamatagoya meke samsara pubhakoti napanyati abhyati bhavatana. Sankara beginning, samsara beginning, you cannot, it is indiscernible. Beginning of samsara is indiscernible. But he never said end is indiscernible. Beginning of samsara is not visible, not discernible, not understandable. But he never said the end of samsara is indiscernible. Why is that? Because you can end samsara. How to end samsara? By ending sankara. How end sankara? By making the mind free from sankara. To make the mind free from sankara, we have to eliminate our ignorance and asava. Asava means influxes. So, I am more not to speak. You know, it is said that only another Buddha can speak exhaustively about another Buddha. One Buddha cannot, one Buddha's qualities, attributes, achievements cannot be explained by any one single individual, but another Buddha. So he explains some, I explain some, not still exhausted. If you each of you explain the Buddha's qualities, still it will not be exhausted. And it needs another Buddha to give exhaustive discourse on the qualities of the Buddha. And therefore, I am not going to try, just like try to empty the ocean water by telling you that the squirrel story, Jataka story, the squirrel's baby fell into the ocean. She loved her baby so much, she wanted to empty the ocean by dipping her tail into the ocean and shaking it out. Again, dip and shake it out. She tried to end, finish, dry up ocean water to rescue her baby. I'm trying to do that with regard to Buddha's qualities. I'm like that squirrel. I can do that. So friends, this is the day to even attempt to talk about the Buddha's qualities. So that's what we try to do. And I hope you understand how deep and profound and how much infinite amount of noble things in the Buddhahood, and therefore we all must be grateful to him for giving us this opportunity to practice his Dhamma, live according to Dhamma. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Now I open the floor for people to ask me questions if they have any. Yeah, I think it's a good idea sitting for long, for one whole hour, make you tired, I'm tired too. So let us have a short break and then come back.
According to our schedules, we have walking meditation. We can take 10-15 minutes walking meditation, but we are going to drive and then sit again. And also, if you have any questions regarding the practice of Dhamma, you can write down in Sangha Hall. There's a box for all your questions. Only Dhamma questions.